In this video, I want to try and install these two 50 amp hour Power Queen lithium iron phosphate batteries onto a homemade e-bike. I want to see how far I can go with these batteries. I'm also going to test the capacity of the batteries, hook up the controller on the bike, help cool down the motor. So let's get into this video. Power Queen sent me two of their 12 volt 50 amp hour lithium iron phosphate batteries to test. This is an unbiased review. They basically sent me these with no obligation, so I'm just going to test them out. So I'm going to give my honest opinion about these batteries and how well they work. This one here is a 12 volt 50 amp hour battery, and it's much lighter than a lead acid battery. 50 amp BMS. There's the post bolts. Oh, and there she is. And it has a strap. The battery looks great. It's got a good solid case. Very nicely made. There's nothing vibrating or shaking inside. Durability wise, I think it's going to be great. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to charge these up fully before even testing them. And I want to test and see the watt hours. These are 640 watt hours each. So that's quite a bit of capacity in this battery here. The weight of it, I mean, compared to an SLA, it is way lighter. Put it on the scale. So 12.5 on the Power Queen battery. This one's a 12 amp hour battery and it's almost 10 pounds. This one's a 21 amp hour lead acid battery on there. So there's the lead acid battery. So this 21 amp hour lead acid battery is about the same weight as the Power Queen 50 amp hour battery. So yeah, there's a big advantage to these. I have a few different chargers here. This one can provide 15, that one's 3, and this one's a maximum of 8. Basically, I could use any of these chargers. With these batteries, they're okay to actually use a lead acid charger because they'll cut out anywhere between 14.5 to 15 max. So these are all automatic. Out of the box voltage, let's 13.1 for the full 8 amps. Or I can use the motorcycle mode, which is only 1.5 amps. The AGM and gel is actually a little higher voltage. Now, we don't want that. It's drawing 7.9 amps and it's at 13.5 volts. So it's gonna take a while to charge. This is a big battery. Let's switch to this one. There it goes. Now this charger will provide 15 amps. This one has a lithium iron phosphate setting. They recommend 10 amps. The reason why they recommend 10 amps, I think it's more for the amount of current at the terminals. Definitely these terminals get quite warm when it's charging. It's on the lithium iron phosphate setting. Okay, so now it's saying 14.1. It's drawing 15.5 amps. It's going to take a while though. All right, so the battery finished charging. Once I took it off the charger, the standing voltage has dropped from 14.1 to 13.9. I have an inverter here. So I'm going to attach the inverter and then I'm going to run the overhead light. So my light up there, this is lighting up the yard here. So we're going to do a watt hour test with that light up there. Okay, so let's do a little test here and see our amps. Okay, so we're drawing 11 amps off the battery right now. And it's putting out the same brightness as it was before. And I'm just gonna let it run and see how many watt hours I can draw off this battery. All right, so the light cut out, the inverter cut out, and it's dropped to 11.68. So the battery is not completely dead. So basically 140 to 150 watt load, ran for 4.5 hours. It's 640 watt hours. Definitely this battery will put out the stated watt hours and even a little more. Very slight warmth. So I'm really happy with the results of this battery. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it on the charger. It's dead now, so I'm going to charge this. These are the best batteries I have so far. I'm going to be using these batteries quite a bit. I'm going to be moving them from project to project. So let's get these into a bike and test them out. This is a 24 volt e-bike I built. It's front wheel drive. It uses a 500 watt motor. I actually overvolted it to 36 volts using a 36 volt controller. Now that I have the two Power Queen 12 volt batteries, I'm going to have to lower it back down to the 24 volts. So I ordered another one of these controllers, basically put it on top of that. Well, it makes sense to put the controller close to where the wires are. The advantage of the 36 volts is basically speed. The bike is much quicker with the 36 volt, but the motor gets a lot hotter. So the wiring of these controllers is very simple. This is a throttle. Make sure the red to red and black to black is correct. So the motor, you have a blue and a yellow. So depending on the rotation of the motor, then blue may go to red, black might go to yellow. Input of the controller. Always solder the connections. Now, there's a reason for that. So basically these controllers, when they fry, they can either fry that they're open connection, or they can actually close the connection. You can just rip a wire off just in case. Positive, so that's just going to plug in here. On the controller here, the last plug I'm going to be using, the red and blue wire. So this one is just basically the on and off switch. So the motor wires, unsolder these and connect them in. So you can see it's been getting quite hot. It's actually melted the tape. There we go. Whew. I'm going to pull these out. If you're overvolting, don't use this. Switched out the tip. There we go. I'm going to put these tubes back on. This automotive stuff, you can get it anywhere. Controller is hooked up. So before testing, always lift the wheel or take the chain off. So I usually put the batteries in this crate here. It's pretty big. It fit a lot of batteries in here. I've been using 2 sealed lead acid batteries because I need 24 volts. So I usually put 2 of them in there, or I may have 20 amp hour sealed lead acid batteries. Now these are pretty heavy. So first off, I can tell right now that there's not going to be enough room to put 2 of these batteries this way or this way. Looks like I have some room. I can go up this way, but I think I'm going to cut the back out of this and just slide the battery up. That wasn't too difficult. Inner tube rubber in the bottom. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Now, oh yeah, look at that. I want to get some rubber in between the batteries and at the back because they're going to rub together going down the road. It really doesn't take up any extra space on the bike. I hope this works. Let's see. Oh, perfect. Lots of room between the seat. All right, so the batteries are in there. They're nice and secure. Yeah, it's not bad, actually. This is 50 amp hours on a homemade bike. I have to get the batteries hooked up here, so I got to connect these in series. I've got it hooked up temporarily. They're both connected in series, and then I have my positive out and my negative out. These little caps will stop the batteries from shorting out. It actually worked out fairly well. That's a lot of amp hours in the back. All right, so I have the batteries hooked up, and I just have to connect my wire, keep the wire out here. I can always pull it off very easily. I'm gonna go for a test ride now. So let's test out these batteries. All right, so the batteries are working really well. It seems like there's more power than with the lead acid batteries. I'm assuming that's because of the voltage. These are a little higher voltage, and I'm sure they can deliver more current. Okay, so I haven't been riding very long, but the motor is starting to really heat up. I can smell it burning. So I'm gonna try and cool this motor down. I couldn't find a fan, but I found this PC. Yeah, I don't even know where this came from. Obviously a curb find. It has XP, it's a Pentium 4. I think you push, there it goes. Okay, I think that'll do right there. It's an old Think Center. I probably won't be using those. So yeah, there's a fan, 12 volts. So this is just a piece of aluminum flashing. So I just cut it, put a notch here, taped it with some fiber tape. And basically this just slides over the motor like this. And fans usually, they always blow out this way. 80 millimeters or 3-inch fan. I think I can just push it in and that's it. I think it looks good. I have this tape. It's really strong. It sort of conceals. So that's pretty good. Doesn't look too bad. I'm only going to use the black and red wire because I don't have any way of controlling it. Homemade battery here. We only want 12 volts. So that should be pretty sticky. Okay, so I've got the tape on there. Yeah, I do feel air escaping. Does it really make... Oof. It's pushing air through. If I put my hand or my face near this side of the motor, I can feel the air coming out. I'm going to have to run it off of just one of the batteries, and I'm going to have to put a switch. I might actually just put the switch right here and run the wire to the back. All right, so I'll just go get a switch, and then I'm going to wire this up. So to turn it on, I just flick the switch here, and away it goes. So it's pretty quiet. The fan is working really well. Without the fan, I wouldn't have been able to go on this long trip. Like it's warm, but that's it. And I can feel the heat coming out of these holes. Now I want to do a range test on these batteries. So basically I'm going to run them from fully charged to completely dead. Run them until the BMS cuts out on them. But I'm not going to do that all in one run. I'm probably going to space it out over a couple days and see how far I can go. So let's get going. The Power Queen batteries work really well, even on an e-bike. I mean, they're a little ridiculous 50 amp hours, but I mean, like, it's totally plausible to put these batteries onto an e-bike. I'm really happy with them. So much better than sealed lead acid. I would never go back to sealed lead acid batteries again. These are so much better. "45 kilometers in, still lots of power." I'm 93 kilometers in on the batteries. It's pretty unbelievable. I have not charged these batteries in days now. I'm going to continue on, see if I can run these batteries down. I don't know. I'll find out. Oh, here we go. 100 kilometers. That is crazy. This would be the farthest I've ever gone on a battery. 100 kilometers, and I still have power. I might get another 10 kilometers, I don't know, but I'm going to keep going, and then I'm going to test the battery voltage when I get back. Right, so I'm back now, and it ran out at 105. When lithium batteries cut out, they cut out, and they give you no warning at all. Here, it was a little over 105. 100 kilometers is the range on these batteries. That's realistically speaking. So the BMS has cut out on the batteries now. So there is no voltage. Okay, so this one's saying 11 volts, -10. Okay, so this one, the BMS did not cut out. This one actually had one cycle. This one did not. It's probably due to because it had a cycle already in it. So when the BMS cuts out on some of these batteries, some chargers won't detect the battery. So you need to have a charger, either a lead acid charger or a charger that will show at least a 14 volt on the terminals. There it goes. There it goes. Really low. Lithium batteries, they do get stronger after a few cycles. So I could probably get more than 105 kilometers out of these after a few cycles, but it's not going to be much. All right. Okay, so it popped up to about 11.5 and it is really dead. There it goes, 8.5 amps. I'm really happy with the results of the battery. These are awesome. So I could get more range on this if I had, let's say, a hub motor or a brushless motor on here. Another big advantage to these batteries are they make a great power station, because all I need to do is add an inverter like this one here. Personally, I'll never carry around a sealed lead acid battery. I have a solar panel over here, 30-watt panel, and I can attach it to the battery. Okay, there it goes, green light's on. It's saying the battery is charged. It's because I did charge this battery, so it's not going to overcharge it. So now there's a panel hooked to it. The nice thing about this is now I have myself a portable solar generator. So lithium iron phosphate batteries are my favorite batteries right now because they have a safer chemistry. They have a better cycle life. They're clean. They're lightweight, much easier to carry around. They can be drained more. They're a deep cycle. So they have a lot of advantages, these batteries. Now, lithium ion, it will provide more wattage per pound, but it's just not as safe and reliable as the lithium iron phosphate batteries. Unlike the sealed lead acid battery like this, heavy battery, these batteries here, they can be drained, but they need to be charged right away. If you forget to charge a sealed lead acid battery and you drain it, then the battery will be damaged and sulfated. Now with these lithium iron phosphate batteries, they don't have the sulfating problem. Disadvantages to this battery compared to the lead acid battery. The only one, so there's no BMS failures in an SLA battery. With these batteries here, if you charge them when they're frozen and they don't have a cold weather protection, then they can be damaged. I want more current to be able to draw off it. I want to run a 1,000-watt inverter off of this battery. I can't really do that because I can't draw the 100 amps. So I'm going to need to add 2 of these together. So that's where these batteries, you need to pair them properly with the right amount of current that you're going to be using. So there is a cost factor here, but these are definitely the way to go.